We're live now. All right. Now I'm gonna try to take it easy here. There's one thing that good that happened tonight. They shut down that website tonight, which is great, and we'll be able to probably sleep better tonight, knowing that they don't have access to this channel that's going to cause all kinds of stir in the United States of America. A beautiful country. Love the United States. Always had a good time when I went down there until about 2001 or something like that, just before 9/11 hit. And I sat at the World Trade Center and we had some food. And then I stood up and put my arms against the building, kind of like that, to see if and you could see the buildings bending. So, that it was kind of a flimsy building. It was built really tall in a small space. So they needed to, and I don't believe in conspiracy theories or anything like that. One thing I know is that the United States has a lot of problems right now, and they're going to have to figure those problems out on their own. Uh, Not being an American, I can say that. I feel safe saying that. Like I'm not scared to say that. I think that's I have a legitimate uh, cause to say something like that. Some people believe in aliens. I don't believe in aliens either. Though I've seen some interesting things that fly around in the sky. Um, I thought they were satellites, but sometimes they're not. Who knows? What if there are aliens? What if aliens actually exist? So tonight, we're not going to get into too much music, but I can if I want to. I mean, it's completely between you and I. If you want to listen to some hardcore techno, I'm down for that. You got to leave it. If you leave a little space and message in there, you can put, you know, on the side. I'll take note. I'm just gonna put hello. And if you want to say something, you have some beef to spew or something like that, you can do it. Or if you want to make a request, I'll put on whatever style of music you want to listen to. So I guess they shut down that I don't know, that racist supremacist site, which I'm very happy about. Very satisfied that they actually shut that down. Like, and that's great. You know, especially like folks like me. I come from a German background, and that stuff is you know hard for me to handle, hard for me to look at. I wasn't alive when that stuff was going on, but I can see, through my parents' eyes what was going on there. Um, we grew up in a kind of a moderate sort of lower middle class home, and in up here in Canada, and it was I don't know, it was just not it wasn't rich. We weren't rich. We'd struggled to eat, because my mom was a housewife and my dad had to work. And there was two boys in our family, and you can understand the struggles. There are people out there that believe that life is all about them and stuff like that. So you get these narcissistic people sometimes. Never been quite like that. I've always been very sensitive. So as you can tell that, as you see, like our neighbors to the south go a little bit kooky. Uh, if that if that's the word, you can see how you'd feel a little bit. I like the United States. There's a lot of great people down there. There's nothing about the people down there. They should be getting together. It's called the United States of America, right? So you got these two factions working against each other because it's a two-party system, and you know, um, it's just getting heavier and heavier every time they have an election. And I'm getting tired of. I'm actually getting pretty quite tired of hearing about it all the time. I think there's something to be said though. Shutting down that website was great tonight. I watched it on the, the Agenda Free TV channel. It was on here on YouTube. A lot of people do that sort of thing. Hey, how do you like my new horseshoe? Like that? That's made out of caribou. That's a true Canadian artifact. You know how much that's worth? I got another one over there hanging up on the wall. But I love Detroit because Detroit was the birthplace of house music, which created techno, or you can call it techno, which created house, whatever. It doesn't matter. Listen to all kinds of music. But I have my own radio station here. Um, I usually play like electronic music, but if anyone has any requests, I got tons and tons and tons of stuff that people can listen to if you're feeling that way. Um, yeah, this all that stuff at the Capitol building really upset me a lot. I thought it was like almost like watching 9/11 all over again, and that was upsetting. I was sitting in my bed that day. I had to work at 1 p.m., 9 p.m. And a friend of my girlfriend's called me and said, "Have you seen what was going on in the news?" Because I was just down in New York City like a month before, and she goes, "Go turn on the news." And I turned on the news, and it's like, "Holy shit, what's that? There's smoke coming out of the Twin Towers. We were just there. We were just there." Yeah, so something happened, and there was speculation at first, but it started to become more readily apparent that something bad had happened, like a terrorist attack of sorts. And I haven't been to the States since. I'm just not really into that. Oh my god. I mean, it's just, the lack of knowledge of their own political system is enough for me. But I did travel up and down the, eastern seaboard quite a few times, and you get to meet a lot of interesting people. And some of the people I met there were, like, from North Carolina, where all the ladies call you "hon." I found that charming. And I was just a kid, 89, I was just a kid. I was training to do missionary work in Mexico, and we had to do boot camp in Florida, just around Orlando area. And we did the boot camp and got to see Disneyland and stuff like that. There's a few perks there, but not too much. And I don't know, we were a good crew. We had a lot of good friends there. Some people didn't get along, some others didn't. It was like a Free Methodist sort of offshot of Christianity sort of thing. And I loved America back then. Why can't we bring back that old America where nobody actually cared where you came from, but you were kind of treated like gold and stuff like that? I see these people, you know, with their flags and their shirts and their darkness that kind of shines through the veneer. And well, I see their shirts. It doesn't shine through the veneer. It's like straight up in your face. Anti-Semitism, racism, bigotry to a phenomenal level. And that's not the America I know. I have an American flag hanging in my bathroom with an eagle and shots of 9/11 and stuff like that. And I was really, well, I always was pro-American until like really, really recently. And I'm never been a fan of Donald Trump. But anyway, I've always been a fan of America because America sort of shines as the beacon of all things liberty, democracy, and freedom. And not always, it shouldn't always be, but some of the radio hosts were really good down there. You got to be honest. You got to be honest. Like the radio hosts were top notch, and they're freaking funny. I mean, borderline. You couldn't get away with that where I live in Canada. You can't get away with that stuff here because just we're just sensitive people, I suppose. It gets cold often, and when it gets cold, you have to help each other out by shoveling laneways and using a snowblower to clear other people's driveways out when the snowplow comes. Some of that stuff is significant. It does build character, it builds love, it builds a lot of kindness. You know, nobody's slamming doors in anybody's faces usually. But we also have a dark side to us too as Canadians, because when you get if you piss off a Canadian, it's kind of like a weird thing. You actually you must have to hit a nerve. You have to hit a pretty hard nerve to piss off a Canadian, but uh, that's just the way it goes. You kind of, I guess you kind of pushing your buttons a wee bit. All I want to talk to you about tonight is that they closed that Powler or whatever site up, which was a great thing. All it did was spew nonsense and was used as a platform to attack those building there. And I think for all we know, it could have been used as platforms for other things. Like Timothy McVeigh was a radical too, and he blew up a bunch of kindergarten kids and stuff like that. Half that building. And that was kind of like something that a lot of people hadn't seen until like recently. Is this white supremacist stuff? I don't know where it stems from and why people think that just because you're white, you're some kind of superior person or something like that. I don't know what it is, or they just don't want you around or something. Um, so that does bother me, and obviously it's readily apparent that the speech that Donald Trump gave that day instigated that violence. Where not only that, but Rudy Giuliani did it too, and Donald Trump Jr. did it too. He was saying, "Fight, fight, fight, fight." You're here to fight. So go down there and fight. Well, and that's exactly what they did. They listened to they hang off every word of his tongue, and it's kind of sad to watch. Because if you're hanging off the tongue of a politician, and don't tell me that Donald Trump's not a politician. He's always been a politician his whole life, his entire freaking life. A businessman is like a politician. They're just trying to make money. They don't give a crap about you. You can see it all around. I mean, you'd have to be completely naive to think that you know, that's actually what is going on. That is not what's going on. You know what I'm trying to say. I already did a few spews tonight, so I'm probably have to keep it down. This time I'm gonna be a little nicer. Because I'm gonna have to delete the ones I did before, and man, I was ranting. It takes a little time to calm down, like just like everybody. We all have emotions, right? We all have political viewpoints too. So, regardless if you agree with me or not, think about this. You can't have people inciting violence, especially especially the president of the United States. The president of the United States inciting violence. Oh my god, that's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe I should put some music on. You guys want to hear music? Or you want to hear me talk? There's a little spot down there. You can actually leave a message and say, "Oh, I like to hear some music." There's one person listening now, anyway, let me rant. I'm not gonna rant too much because I've already ranted. It's just the United States is not what I remember it as being. It's just not the same place. What happened? I have no idea. You know, when I went down to Tucson, Arizona, everyone loved us. When I went to Mexico, everyone loved us. I didn't have any problems with anybody back then. There was no like issues like this. Okay, let's build a wall and keep them out and call them all these words. these negative things. Everyone down in Mexico are probably the most beautiful people you'll ever meet in your life. Honestly, they are. Whether they take up space in because they don't look like you doesn't mean anything at all. Color, skin is insignificant. Look at the soul. Look at the soul and beauty in the person. Don't look at that fucking shit. Come on. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with not you people, but the United States is like screwed up. He's created so much hatred within ethnic communities against him and sometimes for him, but I think these people are paid off because I can't see how anyone would vote for that guy. I can't see. I can see how they would. They got to be out of your bloody skull. With his track record and the things he said, why does anybody vote for somebody like that? Is that what the United States comes down to now? Movie stars? Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger had some things to say today. He did, and it was profound. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see if we can see what Arnold had to say today. Let's get a new window open here. Arnold. How are you guys all doing tonight? Are we good? Here we go. I hope there's no commercials, so I have to keep the volume off until the commercial is done. We had to play it though.
I would like to say a few words to my fellow Americans and to our friends around the world about the events of recent days. Now, I grew up in Austria. I'm very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 by the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys. Wednesday was the day of broken glass right here in the United States. The broken glass was in the windows of the United States Capitol. But the mob did not just shatter the windows of the Capitol. They shattered the ideals we took for granted. They did not just break down the doors of the building that housed American democracy. They trampled the very principles on which our country was founded. Now, I grew up in the ruins of a country that suffered the loss of its democracy. I was born in 1947, 2 years after the Second World War. Growing up, I was surrounded by broken men drinking away their guilt over their participation in the most evil regime in history. Not all of them were rabid anti-Semites or Nazis. Many just went along, step by step, down the road. They were the people next door. Now, I've never shared this so publicly because it is a painful memory. But my father would come home drunk once or twice a week, and he would scream and hit us and scare my mother. I did not hold him totally responsible because our neighbor was doing the same thing to his family, and so was the next neighbor over. I heard it with my own ears and saw it with my own eyes. They were in physical pain from the shrapnel in their bodies and in emotional pain from what they saw or did. It all started with lies and lies and lies and intolerance. So being from Europe, I have seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. I know there is a fear in this country and all over the world that something like this could happen right here. Now, I do not believe it is, but I do believe that we must be aware of the dire consequences of selfishness and cynicism. President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election. He sought a coup by misleading people with lies. My father and our neighbors were misled also with lies, and I know where such lies lead. President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet. But what are we to make of those elected officials who have enabled his lies and his treachery? I will remind them of what Teddy Roosevelt said. Patriotism means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president. Now you see this sword? This is the Conan sword. Now here's the thing about swords. The more you temper a sword, the stronger it becomes. The more you pound it with a hammer and then heat it in the fire and then thrust it into the cold water and then pound it again and plunge it into the fire and into the water, the more often you do that, the stronger it becomes. I'm not telling you all this because I wanted to become an expert sword maker, but our democracy is like the steel of this sword. The more it is tempered, the stronger it becomes. Our democracy has been tempered by wars, injustices, and insurrections. I believe, as shaken as we are by the events of recent days, we will come out stronger because we now understand what can be lost. We need reforms, of course, so that this never ever happens again. We need to hold accountable the people that brought us to this unforgivable point. And we need to look past ourselves, our parties, and disagreements and put our democracy first. And we need to heal together from the drama of what has just happened. We need to heal not as Republicans or as Democrats, but as Americans. Now, to begin this process, no matter what your political affiliation is, I ask you to join me in saying to President-elect Biden, President-elect Biden, we wish you great success as our president. If you succeed, our nation succeeds. We support you with all our hearts as you seek to bring us together. And to those who think they can overturn the United States Constitution, know this: you will never win. President-elect Biden, we stand with you today, tomorrow, and forever in defense of our democracy from those who would threaten it. May God bless all of you, and may God bless America.
And that was it, pretty much. So I wish everyone a good evening, because this has been a tough week. It's been actually a tough year. Everyone's man, it's hard not to believe in the good old USA, you know. But I refuse to not believe in the USA. I think they can come out of this. I think you can come out of this if you are from the United States of America, and you know that you got a good leader who's been in politics for quite a long time, and he knows exactly what is necessary to rebuild and repair what has been done. This terrible crime, and we stand by you as Canadians and everyone abroad. We look forward to better times where we can once again go down to the United States because the borders are closed and from the COVID thing. So let it go down and have a pint with you. That'd be good. Go down and have a good time like we used to. Have a good night.